After 20,000 kilometers and 2 years of riding on my Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650, I can tell you exactly what broke. And Royal Enfield themselves have just been caught testing the fix. The bike itself is absolutely bulletproof, but when you find out eventually what did break, you will understand the latest spy shots coming out of India. So I think it's safe to say I absolutely have hammered this bike over the last 20,000 kilometers, all sorts of terrain, all sorts of weather conditions, and I've got this bike so dirty over the time. One thing I've never done is put a pressure washer to this bike. I only cleaned this bike with hose and brush and cloths only, and it's still looking like a new bike, to be honest with you. It's looking very good. The engine, absolutely flawless. It's a well-proven engine now. It's been out for 7 years or more, starting with the Interceptor and the Continental. 648cc, parallel twin, single overhead cam, well proven, nice engine. The transmission, absolutely perfect. I did have a few false neutrals when I first had the bike, when it was under 500 kilometers, but after that first oil change, everything sorted itself out and those gear changes, smooth and perfect. The brakes, absolutely solid. For a bike that weighs 241 kilograms, they perform very well. I did carry out a pad change, front and back. I'll put the mileage up here on screen so you can see what mileage I actually had to change the pads, but I've only done that once within the 20,000 kilometer range, which is expected anyway. And the frame, pristine. The welds are good. I've got no fractures showing. I've got no rust marks coming through. The Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650 is the best looking Royal Enfield ever made, in my opinion, but it's like having a partner who has smelly feet when they take their shoes off at night to go to bed. You still love them, but only you know about that one thing that drives you crazy on long rides. So what actually did break was my back on my first week of ownership of this bike. When I bought the bike, my dealership, they gave me a free ticket to the Bangkok Motor Show. And stupidly, I thought that would be a great idea to ride from Chiang Rai in the very north of Thailand to Bangkok down south, over 650 kilometers. I thought that would be a great idea and an opportunity to make a video, which I did.
To the illustrious Bangkok Motor Show, you'll witness the ups and downs along the way, quite literally.
So on that initial first long tour on this bike, I instantly discovered the uncomfort of that rear suspension. It was partly my fault. It was set at preload 1. I was only 80 kilograms at the time, and that preload 1 on the Royal Enfield manual says it's fine. It should be up to 90 kilograms for preload 1, but it was definitely too much for me. I since then ran it on preload 2 and preload 3, but then it did become too hard. The problems with preload 1 is that when you go over a bump at speed, the suspension isn't too hard, it's too soft, and suspension bottoms out, and then you get the sudden jolt through your back. There's definitely a problem with that suspension, and I'm not the only one that complains about it. It's well documented on Facebook groups and other people's videos that they're not happy with the rear suspension on the Super Meteor. Now this is version 1, model 1, Mark 1. Here, I'm going to call this the Mark 1, which had the oxygen sensor here, just one. The Mark 2, the newer models that have been coming out for the last 6 months, they have got 2 oxygen sensors. They've got one here and one somewhere near your front foot pegs. And because of that, the foot pegs have had to be moved back slightly on the Mark II, I think that would make the bike slightly more comfortable, not having the peg so far forward. You can actually raise yourself off the bike a little bit. And I'm not sure if on the Mark II they actually improved the suspension or not. I don't think so, but all I know is that not everyone complains about that rear suspension. Some people find it perfectly okay. I definitely didn't, and there's lots of people like me. So here they are, the culprits. I did change these out after 6 months. I gave them 6 months thinking that they might bed in, they might soften up. I did run them on preload 2 most of the time. It did stop the bottoming out, but what it also did was made the spring a whole lot firmer. So for my body weight at the time, 80 kilograms, it was too less or too much on the preload. It wasn't the sweet spot. And I think that's why some people get away with them. It all depends on your body weight. They're supposedly made by Showa. They put their name on the front suspension, but they definitely don't put their name on the rear. I don't think they want to be honest. All I can say is that Royal Enfield are aware of it at last and are reacting to it. And if you look at these spy shots, you can see now that they're testing new suspension units for the new Meteor. I think there's going to be a revised edition. The latest spy shots, a computer strapped to a Super Meteor wired to a rebound sensor on the rear shock, a new looking rear shock. So let's hope in the future with this Mark III Meteor that the suspension is a lot better, and let's hope that Royal Enfield make it affordable for previous Meteor owners to be able to swap out their suspension units, because the preferred units at the moment are YSS and Hagon. I think they do the job very well, but they are unaffordable to people that live in India, for instance, because of import tax, etc. So let's hope that the new Royal Enfield ones that they're testing at the moment are going to be much better, make the bike better, and make it affordable for people of previous owners who want to change. So, after 20,000 kilometers, are things broke? Not at all, not on the bike. And the maintenance costs on this bike have been very low also, just the cost of oil and a couple of sets of brake pads. So a cheap bike to run. There is a problem with the tyres, that's the only problem I foresee now. They're too good. 20,000 kilometers, and this is one of the problems. I think the rubber compound is too hard, and that is why the sidewalls have got little compression when you go over big bumps, and it just makes the tyre too hard, and that's why you're feeling the back pain so much. That's what I'm guessing. 20,000 kilometers, these tyres are going to come off now, even though they've still got plenty of tread. I'm not keeping them on. Royal Enfield have prioritised longevity over comfort, and I understand it. With Indian customers, they want things to last, but those tyres, 20,000 kilometers and all that tread on the tyres, no, it's too hard. And maybe that's a cause for some of the comfort issues. So I will change those tyres very soon. If you have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. I'm thinking Pirelli, I'm thinking Michelin, I'm not really sure. It depends what I can get locally here as well. It's not easy to get tyres for this bike, but I will change them, and if I see a noticeable improvement in comfort, of course I will let you know. What I'm hoping to see in the future from Royal Enfield with the Super Meteor Mark III, what I'm hoping to see from Royal Enfield is modified suspension, better suspension, maybe a 750cc. Maybe they're going to bore the engine out to a 750cc. That might be nice. Maybe even 850cc. You can get an 850cc kit from Hitchcock's Motorcycles for this bike. They do actually make it. So maybe Royal Enfield are going to follow suit and bore this bike out to an 850cc. I do foresee that coming. 750, 850. I do foresee that. But yeah, it's a great looking bike, isn't it? It really is a great looking bike. If you're into cruisers, you're into Royal Enfield, this bike just hits the mark, apart from the comfort issues, which I've pointed out. If you're going to buy a second-hand Royal Enfield Super Meteor, be aware of the comfort issues. That can be solved with seats and suspension units. If you've got the Mark II, can you please let me know if the suspension is better or not? I need to know. And let's fingers crossed that the Mark III, that they're going to introduce some major upgrades to this bike to make it more appealing maybe I would change in my 650 for a 750. Who knows? So do I regret buying the Super Meteor 650? Absolutely not. We've had such an adventure and it's opened up doors for me. For instance, this Meteor being the first Super Meteor in the world to have a belt drive fitted on it. And that opened up doors for YouTube for me. So I'm very grateful for that. And I do love the bike. As much as I hate it sometimes, I absolutely do love it. And by doing my aftermarket mods, such as changing out the rear suspension, I think I've solved my comfort issues. And also, you might have spotted it, the new seat. So I've put a Sahara lowrider seat on this. I'm testing it at the moment. There will be a video coming very soon on my review of this seat. I've already ran on the touring seat from Sahara, which I found very good. This one is a little bit different, and so I'm going to do review. I think I'm going to do a review of the both seats very soon. What I also did recently was a review on the Bear 650. I was a bit late to the market with that video because I've only just arrived in Thailand, but that video, boom, it's got a lot of views straight away within the first week. So if you want to see that video, I'll put a link here. So you've been watching Ride with T. Thank you so much for staying with me this far. If you found this video useful or helpful or interesting, please give us a like. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed and you press that subscribe button again, then you unsubscribe. So please don't do that. Just press it once and then you stay with me